Hello and welcome to Sovereign Stylist. My name is Darcy Harrison and I am going to be interviewing one of our wonderful moderators for the Sovereign Stylist today, Stephanie, and I want to welcome her, and I want to just introduce, this is something that we did also for the other interviewee for this series, for Real Talk of going back to the salon. If at any time Stephanie needs to take a break for whatever reason, doesn't matter, she can say pineapple and we will take a break and we'll come back and we might edit it a little differently. It might not completely smooth together, but then she has an opportunity that if she needs a pause, that is her chance for that. So welcome, Stephanie. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, we love having you. You work for the Sovereign Stylist, so we are lucky to have you. Okay, so we're just going to start with basic questions and then we'll get into more detail down the line. So just tell me a little bit about yourself. Where do you live and how long have you been working inside the cosmetology industry?
I live in Spring, Texas, which is a little suburb out of Houston, about 40 minutes from Houston. But I've been in the industry 32 years. I started back when I was 19, 20 years old as a receptionist. Met a stylist, a guy, and he said, you know what, you can't sit here and make minimum wage. You need to go to school. So he dragged me down. I actually did nails before I did hair. I did nails for 5 years. And about the 5th year into it is when the industry changed, and we had a lot of the I would say, Asian shops come in. And they were charging, I was charging $75 for a full set of nails. And they came in charging 25 or 30, whatever it was at the time. And so I decided that I was going to get out of the industry for a little bit, did that for about 6 months and decided I hate that. I love the industry. So I went and became a sales rep, went to salons and sold their products and decided I really hated that even more. And went back and started doing nails and then decided that I would go to hair school. And I've been doing that for 22 years now. So. And
you are now located
in Spring, Texas.
Okay, gotcha. I didn't remember if you had said that. Perfect. Awesome. So when and how did you hear that your state was ready to reopen salon spaces?
So we had got an original date of May the 18th. So kind of going along that line. And I'm sure everyone has heard about the lady in Dallas that was pushing to get us open. So we had a big push, and literally 2 days before today, they're like, guess what? You get to open. So it was a very mad rush to prepare and get things ready because we didn't even know until like the day before, I think. Maybe we had 3 days, 2 days before, like what were the rules? What were the guidelines? What did we need to have to even, start back into the salon and working with clients again? So it's been a big whirlwind to get back in here because of the short notice that we had.
Gotcha. So with that being said, with there being a rush, what was it like to come into prep to open? What were you doing? How did you do that?
Well, so I worked for 2 weeks, was it 2 weeks? Before the quarantine, the full lockdown here in Texas. And so we had already, I had been, wiping everything down and, spacing clients out a little bit. So before I left, I had done a thorough clean of the salon, and I'd actually taken a lot of stuff home with me. So I was like, I don't have to bring all that back. So that was the main thing. I just had to bring everything back, set everything back up, and then realize, I need product. And so it was a little overwhelming because, you have all of these people coming at you at once, and you're like, I don't even have time to go get product and color. So, anyone that is getting ready to go back, I would really say take the time to stock up, because even our supply places here weren't open.
Wow. And
so
you didn't have time to ship anything, obviously, because first of all, shipping is taking a while, and then also, it's not going to come in 2 days.
No. So like one of our supplies, Princess, they let us go in. We could go in the store when they announced it. And I think RDA or Armstrong was like, you can come in, but you got to be masked and gloved. And there's only 2 people at a time. And so you can imagine how many hairdressers are here in Texas or Houston rushing out to the supply house. And I'm like, I think I can squeak by until Monday, so.
Right.
Yeah.
That's hard. So, let's see. So that first opening day, what were the things that you did before you opened the doors?
I went through and I made sure that I put out an email to my customers explaining to them exactly what the procedures were going to be so that no one came in unprepared. That doesn't mean they did not come in unprepared, but at least you gave them some kind of warning. I also sent out 2 forms for them to sign. One was basically the salon rules. You don't have to wear a mask. You're going to be escorted in the salon, all the rules that we have. And also I did have them sign a release form. We did have an attorney draw one up.
I was going to ask if you had someone take a look at it.
I did. I don't know if I say the rules, but I feel like the information that we get every day has changed. So I feel like as stylists, we need to protect ourselves, especially those that are small business owners, because we don't know what's going to happen. If we come in and we're a hot spot and all, people are catching COVID and it traces back to us, are we going to be responsible? This is unknown territory. So I thought, it'd be better to be overly prepared than to come back later and be like, now what do we do?
Isn't that kind of for everything, whether, you didn't have the protocol ahead of time. So, you're like, I'm just going to be as strict with it as I can be. And, I can't even imagine, you trying to make sure you had enough gloves and masks and everything for that moment.
Yeah, it was tough. And I think that one of the things too is like cleaning supplies. Make sure you have enough, to make sure that you are providing, a very sanitized area for your clients to come in so they don't feel nervous at all. And I made sure while they were here, they even saw me while they were processing, still cleaning. Like there was never a time that I just sat here and they did not see that things were being sanitized while they were here as well.
Right. So what in Texas, or if it's county or city specific, what PPE or what type of protective gear are you required to wear, and what are you choosing to wear if it's not required?
Okay, so there's kind of a weird line. So it says the client and stylist should wear a mask. So
it's not clear that it's required when they say should.
Yeah, it's kind of that fine line. So the building that I'm in, I rent a suite. Mm-hmm. Our owner has been really fabulous, and he has put some pretty strict rules in, which is nice because, when you come into a suite area, and if you're telling your clients, well, you have to wear a mask, and they look across the hall, they're like, well, they're not wearing a mask, it's nice to have kind of a uniformed rule for everybody. Mm-hmm. I feel like it makes it less of a challenge for us to feel safe, because we are so close to people. They didn't require a whole lot, to be honest with you. The 25% in the salon.
Gotcha. Are they doing the 10-person rule? That seems to be what's going around, even though it doesn't make super sense for different square footage.
Yeah, so 10 people. So I guess depending on, but you got to be 6 feet apart. So I guess you would have to calculate your, it does that work. Luckily, I'm in a suite, so I have my own space. I don't have to worry about the whole, having enough people. I can only have one person in the building at a time.
Right.
For myself. So.
For yourself, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So as you went through that first day, is today your first day?
Today's the first day, yeah.
Today is your first day, and how many clients did you do today, and how did you feel throughout the day?
I did 7. I have a very big wait list of people to get in, so I tried to get as many people in as possible. Now, I did find that wearing the mask did give me a headache. I did wear a mask and a shield. I started the day just wearing the mask, and I discovered my plan was to wear the shield when I shampooed because we are super close, when you're, foiling or coloring in the back, so you feel like you're just not so in their face. As the day went on, I found that I was getting really hot and I started to feel a little overwhelmed. So I made sure, and one thing too, which everyone I don't think thinks about, because we're not offering any drinks. I told my clients not to bring any food or drinks in because you can't take your mask off, is that I'm used to drinking as I'm coloring or foiling or you're processing, and all of a sudden you can't. So I made sure, like, I would put my clients under the processor and I'd be like, I'll be back in 3 minutes. And I would grab my drink, I would go outside, take my mask off, get a breath of fresh air, you know, get something to drink, and then come back in.
Gotcha. And how long are you spacing between clients to clean and sanitize? What kind of buffer are you building in?
I'm giving myself 20 minutes.
And does that feel like enough time, or does that feel rushed?
I probably could do 30, but I'm kind of antsy. Right. So, but I mean, I will tell you, like, I didn't take a lunch break. I haven't even been to the restroom today. So,
so that probably would be something people should think about, is if they need to, considering they might want to get as many people in, to just already book their lunch, or, you know, if they've been doing clients for 4 hours, to have a 10-minute break or something like that already built in.
Yeah. So I made sure, like, after each client, I did 20 minutes. So I'd spray everything down. I'd go outside, get a drink, take my mask off, take my shield off and stuff. And then I'd come back in, and everything is sat for the time that it needed. I'd wipe everything down, you know, and prep for the next one. By then they're texting like, I'm here, because we have them wait in the car. And so then I go outside and escort them in. So to me, 25 minutes is good. But, you know, if you're trying to get them in and make the money, you know, you can't, you know, time is money for us. So we don't want to take too much time. But also, I think it's important for everybody, make sure you're taking care of yourself and not overwhelming yourself. I've noticed a lot of people didn't work very late today. So I'm probably one of the few people that worked all day. Right. So probably I would say, if I were to do it over again, I probably would have worked a shorter day my first day, because I have an extra long day tomorrow too. Our salon is actually open. Our building is open until midnight. Oh,
wow. Okay. So you have the opportunity to stay longer if you want to, but right now it seems like people are just trying to get used to their day and sort of tapping out. Is that about it?
Yeah.
Accurate? Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm here. I got finished at 8:30. And I got here at 10 this morning.
And so going forward, do you feel like you can sustain this type of day going forward? Or you said you're going to possibly not do as long of a day going forward. What
I will tell you,
gauge it as you go.
Being off for 7 weeks, it was like, I'm tired. And it was funny because I went to go shampoo my first client, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, you don't realize how much you twist when you shampoo. And I was like, my back is going to be killing me tomorrow. So, yeah, I'll do today and tomorrow. And then next week, I'm going to work 6 days, but I'm not going to be working till late at night. This is too much.
Right. Well, yeah. And, you know, obviously we have to be aware that if you are working too much and you're driving your immune system down, then you are even more vulnerable to exposure and contagion, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. So what do you think are the pros and cons of working in this type of way?
I think the pros is that it's keeping everybody very aware of sanitation, which, you know, seems obvious, but I think that a lot of us, over time, we all become a little lax. You know, we get comfortable with our clients. Maybe we're not scrubbing as much as we need to. I think some of the cons is that obviously just the equipment is hot. It's hard. What did you say? You know, you have a mask on, your client has a mask on. Then you get to the bowl, their mask has, you know, water or hair color on it. I had one client who I took to the bowl. She brought a nice mask in. That was one thing I told clients, like, bring a disposable mask in. It's going to get wet. It's going to get color. Mm-hmm. She didn't. And
did
so I'm like,
refuse to wear a mask? How do you intend to deal with people that might be pushing back on wearing the mask? Even though
I will not service our building, you cannot enter the building without a mask on.
So are you wearing gloves?
No, gloves are not required, but what our rules are in our building is that we have to go out and get our client from the car. We come inside, we escort our client to the bathroom. We both wash our hands, and then we come in and do the service.
Got it. It seems to be that is starting to be what I'm hearing from people, that it's the optics and also the connection of, like, you know, you're sort of talking and chatting while you're both washing your hands, and
Yeah,
it's a brief connection of I haven't seen you in a long time, as well as getting clean.
it is, and it doesn't feel awkward. It's funny because I could show you, but literally, I don't know if you can see, but they've taken all the furniture out. And so
no chairs, no sitting.
There's nothing. Yeah, so we usually have couches, and it's really decorated really nice, and you walk in and you're like, what happened? You know,
right.
Yeah. So clients feel very uneasy because this is different. You're having to wear a mask. You're like, I'm not sure what's going on here. And so I think walking to the restroom, washing your hands, it does give that little break, you know, and kind of laugh about it. And and then they're in here, they're like, oh, it's not that bad now. Okay, you know. Everyone's very nervous, I found today.
Right. So were some people like, am I the first guinea pig? Were they feeling like that when they're sitting in your chair, or?
Every client that I had today has not left their house.
So that's good. So you didn't have to, so you said that you have a waiver, correct?
Yes.
Did you do anything like, you know, some states are saying you have to check their temperature when they come in. Are you doing that?
I haven't checked
a questionnaire 24 hours ahead of time, any of that stuff?
Yeah, so I'm sending out a questionnaire. I was actually going to look here. So we send them out, we ask them, you know, the questions, you know, have you been exposed to anybody the last 16 days? Are you having any of the symptoms? It lists the symptoms. And I'm sending that to them 24 hours prior. They sign it electronically and send it back.
What system are you, I'm just curious, what system are you using for that kind of waiver?
I did Adobe Sign and Fill and Sign. Okay. Yeah, that was really easy, super easy. You can send it directly to
It's free. That one's, you can get on your phone.
It's free.
Get it online.
Yeah, so you can literally like let's say, you know, like this was my waiver. Like you can literally take a picture of it with Adobe, fill and sign, and then you just send it to your customer, and they just fill it right on their phone. It's really super easy. And my thing is I did not want people to bring me paper. You know, they're telling us, you know, try to stay away from money, not touching money. And so I was like, please don't bring me paper. Please sign it digitally and send it back. So it's all sitting in my email. I'm going to put it in a folder. And then if anything happens, they're all right there. I don't have to worry about trying to organize and keep track of paper and all that.
So you're keeping it in the cloud so that you don't have to have a ton of files and paper and contagion around as well.
Yeah. And the other thing is when my clients, we go to check out, I'm sending them an invoice. And they're paying it. So I'm not touching their card. They're not touching my phone. And it's pretty easy. Everyone so far, so I'm like, this is great.
Did anybody say, well, I actually could just pay you with my phone and we don't have to touch each other? What, any contactless credit card stuff at all?
You know, I don't have any clients. I've never offered it, and I've never had any clients ask. So, but I mean, it's you know, it's an option. I have clients that pay me, you know, PayPal or whatever. It's an option. But I find the invoice is easy.
Got it. Cool.
Especially because it uses my system, which is Square. So it also helps me keep track of what we did.
Right. And the other thing is, you know, obviously a lot of states are saying that we should be avoiding walk-ins altogether and taking appointments. So some people are having to switch to appointment systems, which is actually helpful because some states might actually require you to keep records for the last 14 days. And you could just go back to your schedule if you have it all online. So you don't even have to worry about keeping extra records. You just have your calendar.
Yeah, it's easy because they're going to fill out all their information, their phone number, the whole 9 yards. It's right there. And which is nice. So when they come, like maybe I'm ready and they haven't texted me, I can just pull up my appointment, click on their number, send them a text, hey, I'm ready whenever you are, or are you here? Or, you know, communication is easy.
So what do you think from just this first day, what do you think are the big suggestions for as other states start to reopen? What do you think are your biggest sort of like, you know, you've already shared some, but if you can think of any others?
I would just say, you know, prepping your client a lot to what they're walking into. Be very clear about what your salon rules are. And what I was saying earlier, I didn't finish, but, you know, I started off just wearing the mask, and I was going to wear the shield just at the shampoo bowl. And the more I talked to clients, I could tell they felt very uneasy that they haven't been out during this whole quarantine, and that they trusted me. And so I'm like, you know what? I feel like wearing the shield and the mask gives them that security. They feel even safer. So, you know, I hear a lot of not clients, a lot of stylists like, you know, I don't want to wear the mask. It's hot or whatever. I think to show, you know, the big draw or the chant that everyone was saying was cosmetologists have so much sanitation knowledge. You know, this isn't a time for us to drop the ball. This is a time to even step it up even further to show our clients that we do have your health and safety in mind.
And it's definitely a great opportunity that we can take advantage of to not just resist what's being told to us to do, but to prove that we are capable and professional and able to absorb and adapt so that we can keep ourselves and our families as well as our clients safe. I think it goes a long way for, you know, I know in your state and with TSS, I'm the advocacy director. I'm very concerned about states like yours that want to deregulate, and this goes a long way that if we prove to them, listen, we're doing the basic protocol plus all of these other things, see how we need to have a license. We need to be regulated because we need to make sure people aren't spreading disease and contagious and things and virus. And I think as long as, you know, people can consistently follow the protocol, that does well for us. But I think it's hard because we have a lot of people pushing back. And so I think the clients keep us accountable. We keep each other accountable. It's great when building owners and salon space owners, even in independent models, are supporting, hey, I'm here to back you up.
Yes.
That is amazing. It's when everyone's on the same page that it seems to work. And then also the clients see that and they're reassured because they see you working together.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what would you say is, and this is not part of our little list, but this is something that I was asking Pam about as well, is what are you doing to maintain your work-life balance, your staying grounded, staying mentally acute, making sure that you're not, I know myself, and I'm just speak for myself, I will put the smile on and act like nothing's wrong when something's crumbling, because I just know that I need to leave it at the door and deal with my client and listen to their problems. And sometimes it ends up happening that it comes out anyway.
Right.
But what are you doing to support your self-care in all of this?
I would say being prepared, mostly, not stressing myself out. Where before, I think this whole COVID-19 was a big wake-up call for me, that I was not taking care of myself mentally, that I was working until I was probably irritable is probably the best word. And I found myself,
client and you have nothing left.
Right. And I found myself, this time off was wonderful. And I was thinking to myself, do I even want to go back? Like, I don't even know if I like it anymore. Like I'd literally drained everything out of myself, trying to make money. And so the time off was really great. So coming back, after we get over this little bump of coming back, everybody wanted to come in and accommodate everybody. I would say probably 3 weeks a month. At that point, I'm going to make sure that I set time off for myself. I'm not working 6-7 days a week, that I am doing something mentally, whether that's, let's take a day off and go to the beach or go to the lake, or, I picked up meditating, yoga, clearing your mind, breathing, grounding yourself, physically going outside and grounding yourself, spiritually taking care of yourself is really, really important. And making sure, like you said earlier, like I'm not going to drain all of my energy, or take on all your negativity. I've got to we all have to put ourselves foremost, because come back into the salon, if we're irritable, nobody wants to come in and get their hair done. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. And so do you see in the future that, you know, as you habituate and get the second nature of this new, I hate saying new normal because it doesn't feel normal at all. It feels like a new
No.
future. I don't, that's what I'm calling it, the new future, because new normal is, it's just, I just don't see that as something that we're going to get accustomed to. But did you find any moments of joy today that sort of kind of went over the top and, you know, made you feel better about all of this rigmarole you have to do?
Yeah, because all of my clients were like, well, every client today did not touch their hair. So that was good. You know, everyone's like, oh my God, I love you. I've missed you so much. I didn't realize how much I appreciate you and all the stuff that you do for me all the time, you know? So that made me feel good. I was like, no, it's worth, you know, the extra cleaning and sweating, and I have no makeup on. I pulled my hair up in a ponytail,
Right.
and, you know, like, there is nothing about being pretty during all of this. I can just tell you right now.
Yeah, I think I
So
definitely seen that over and over in other people's sort of little snippets online. Um, and do you feel like you can move into the future confidently? Are you feeling good? What, just, you know, give us a status of like today, and then, you know, obviously it could change tomorrow, it could change next week.
I think it's going to be fine. I think once you get accustomed to the mask and the shields, or, you know, whatever protection that you're having to do for your state, it's going to be fine. But I think the challenge is going to be when clients want to push back and they don't want to do it, or stylists are like, I'm tired of wearing this mask. It's hot. I have a headache. And, you know, I think that it will change the industry. I think that some people won't want to do it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think the people that really love it will be dedicated and will keep continuing to do it, whether they have to wear a mask or whatever that entails.
Mm-hmm. Totally. Okay, so I think that pretty much wraps it up, unless you had anything else you wanted to add, or any pieces of advice, or even some minute little discovery today.
I would just say make sure you drink a lot of water. Because
Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate.
there was a few times today, like I'm hot and my legs feel a little weak, and I was like, I think I need a drink, because you just don't realize how much you drink during the day. And I have like my big Yeti that I drink, and I had finished it by 1 o'clock, and I was like, oh
wow,
I need another one.
Well, and some of the things that happen is you get dizzy, you can get nauseous, you can get a headache, you don't think clearly, you get lightheaded. If it gets really bad and you've really driven yourself in, you know, I've heard one recommendation is don't have a bunch of drinks the night before. Have your couple glasses of wine, but do not go out. You know, not that we can go out right now, but
yeah,
you know, don't have your, you know, into the middle of the night drinking session and then expect to be able to get to work and be able to function the next day. I mean, to be honest, I couldn't do it before, but
right. I know. Well, it just reminds me, like when I was younger. I'm 50 now, but like in my 20s, you know, you could
we just roll into work, just like, hey, no, I can't do that.
No, it takes me 3 days to recover. So yeah. So I would say during this time, treat it like, you know, Saturday morning. You know, you have brides, or you have important, you know, long Saturdays or long day. You cannot be hungover. So treat every day that way. You know, on Saturday night, go for it when you're not working on Sunday. But and bring snacks, bring food.
Yeah, little things, right? So that you're not having to eat a whole meal.
But go outside, get fresh air. I went out. We have a beautiful lake in front of my shop, and so I went outside today, and I had my little protein bar and my drink, and I hung out with a duck, and you know, it was great. You know, a little nature and a little woosah.
That sounds like a moment of joy.
It was a moment of joy. So yeah, so this, you know, I would tell people, don't feel like you have to be a slave to your chair all day long, you know, and tell your client, I need a break. And by the time they sit in your chair for 2 hours, they're like, I don't know how you're doing this. I really appreciate you.
Yeah, they expose it, see everything that's going on.
They're like, you know what, I appreciate you even more. So you know, the clients that are really your true clients will love you even more, will appreciate you so much more, and will take care of you, you know, when it comes to tips.
And that's the other thing I forgot to ask. Did you add a COVID-19 surcharge, or did you raise your prices, or?
I did not. Okay. Now, the only snafu I had today is I made sure I told everybody, you have to wear a mask. We have, if I wish I could go show you right now, we have huge signs when you
Mm-hmm.
walk up to the building that have all of the rules. And it's like, you cannot enter the building without a mask. And my client shows up with a bandana.
That's open underneath.
Well, how am I going to color your hair with a bandana?
Oh, right. That too. Right.
So I was not going to supply masks. Like I cannot, I mean, I just got unemployment last week. I've been off since the 24th.
You can't afford it right now. Yeah. And it takes a while to get to you too.
Right. So I'm like, I don't have money. So anyway, so she's like, she brought her and her husband and their kids. We were doing the rotation of everybody. And she was getting her hair colored. And they drove 40 minutes to come see me to get their hair done today.
Wow.
So it wasn't like, well, go do whatever and come back. So luckily, they had bought packs of masks for us.
Oh.
So I had thought about charging them, but they brought me a drink. So I was like, and they drove 40 minutes. Like, you have to
gotta gauge it,
right?
Yeah.
But I will
spending
say
so much money with you that day, and
yeah, and they're loyal. They've been coming to me for years. But I would suggest to stylists to have disposable masks if you can get them. I even bought, in fact, there's a salon here in Houston that's doing it, but Target is selling masks. They come in a pack of 10. They're $15. Now I'm going to tell you the secret what they are. They're felt.
what?
They're felt.
Like fuzzy.
So it's a piece of felt. Yeah, it's a piece of felt, and it has holes, and so it has 2 different holes. So you literally just wrap it around, and then it comes down. So it which doesn't do you a lot of good, right? But like if you're desperate, you could go do that. I think they were like, I bought it because I thought they were like, I have these masks, which our distributor, I can put this on, our distributor sold these. They were 3 for $10. And they have the micro stuff on them, and they're washable. So these aren't bad, but they do slide down. So I know my friend made masks, and she took pipe cleaner and stuck them on the inside, and then you can pinch it so it doesn't slide. So that was nice. But I would suggest having some kind of mask
to provide
for the
them
client,
if they don't have them.
The client that shows up. So one, you don't have to turn them away. They don't get mad, and you don't lose money.
And what regulatory agency in Texas is going to be enforcing these measures?
That's a good question. I don't know. We, we have a TDLR, which is Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation. And this entire time, they're like, well, this is the city. They're in charge of this. So I'm guessing the health department would come around.
In the city.
Yeah, because when you ask TDLR, they're like, well, we don't know. You're like, well, you regulate us. How do you not know? Like, what do we, what are the fines? What are we doing here? And they won't give you an answer. So I would assume it would be the health department that would have come around and check on you.
And so they haven't given you any indication that if you aren't following at least the protocol that they gave you for this, that you're not even sure that they would shut people down, quote unquote.
I don't know, because I was going to look here and see what they said. It says cosmetology salons should be mindful of federal and state employment and disability laws, workplace safety standards. So
things like OSHA and the Department of Labor would sort of oversee that kind of stuff, and then it would come down to the city beyond that, is what my perception of what that is saying. Yeah,
so it doesn't really give you, I don't know, like I said, it's about as clear as mud. And so, this was a local health authority, so,
right. Well, I mean, as long as you know that you can only control yourself is the big thing that I keep telling everyone. So it sounds like you're doing everything you can to protect yourself, to protect your family, and protect your clients. And that's what matters. We can't focus on what others are and are not doing, but, just
absolutely. Yeah. But, just know that from my experience today, like I said, clients were not going out. They trusted me and they trust us. And so, make sure that you don't give them a doubt. And it was really funny. I had one client today, and I had my shield and my mask on, and the whole time I'm shampooing her, she's like looking at me. And
like you're a different person. You're an alien with the shield on.
Well, it was like she got nervous all of a sudden. I could tell her anxiety had risen. And so I'm blow drying her, and she's kind of like, and I'm like, I have a mask and a shield on. I mean, you know, this face shield, you know, like there's nothing coming through, you know, there's no way. But I could tell like she was ready to get out of here. She was done.
Right.
So
she hit her limit.
Yeah, you may find clients at book appointments and all of a sudden go, I've had people do that. They booked and then they canceled. I'm not ready to get out. Okay.
Okay. Well, and
so,
did you waive your cancellation fees, or did you do any of that?
Well, what I'm doing is normally I don't. Now if it's an established client and they called me and we talked about it, then I'd be like, absolutely.
No problem. But if it's a new client, you don't know, and they didn't let you know and they no-show, they're getting charged some sort of cancellation.
Well, because right now I'm getting an influx of people I've never done before because maybe their hairdresser isn't working or they couldn't get in.
Right.
And so, you know, even in the past prior to this, you know, you'd have the customer that would book and never show up. So I don't see this as any different, you know, so, and actually I'm really considering not taking any new clients in for a while.
Well, then you know, the ones that truthfully waited, they earned that time.
Absolutely. And so I'm booked until middle of June with my clients. So really don't have a lot of space for any people. You know, you're going to have one or two, but I'm really considering just not even leaving it as an option. Right. And then I don't have to worry about it. And plus the fact most of my clients that I've done here for so long that, you know, I've done them for years and years and years.
It's something wrong family. They didn't let you know that they can't make it, right?
Exactly. And everybody's pretty honest. I mean, I've had some client, I called her and I was like, hey, you know, I'm giving you first pick because you were booked in March when we closed. And, you know, well, I have a little bit of cough. It's allergy, but I don't feel comfortable. I don't want to make you feel nervous or anyone else. And so I'm going to wait. It's no big deal. I was like, okay, you know. So, yeah.
Awesome. Anything else to add?
I think that's it.
I think we covered it.
Good luck to everybody.
Yeah, well, I think everyone feels like they need to wish themselves some luck, too.
But, you know, I have to say, and I think I said it before, I think we build it up in our head. It's going to be so horrible and it's going to be this. And during the day, I was like, it's really no different.
Once you hopefully get used to it, it'll feel like your normal routine and it won't feel so scary anymore.
Absolutely. So the first day, you know, you're like, oh, I did everything and cleaned and I wiped that. And, you know, but yeah, it's really no different. Just have to wear a mask and you're a little hotter. You're not as pretty.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking time after your long, busy day back.
You're so welcome.
Share your experience. I think it's invaluable for our colleagues to hear real life experiences and not have it be some sort of glorified meme or some viral picture that goes around and everyone debates it. This is a real person, this is a real professional, and this is her experience in her home state. So
absolutely.
With that, thank you so much from the Sovereign Stylist. Thanks for watching, and see you in the new future.
All right. Take care, everybody.